no surprise that the Indiana Fever looked best tonight when Caitlin Clark was surrounded by players that don't have an ego, surrounded by players that said, I'm going to be MVP of the WNBA this year. You see how easy it is when you just let Caitlin play ball and others follow.
Finally, after months of doubt and non-stop criticism, Caitlin Clark reminded the world exactly who she is. The Indiana Fever didn't just defeat the Atlanta Dream, they dominated them 99-82, silencing all the noise that claimed this team was somehow better off without their star.
Now a final 99-82. Right here, 29 points in the third quarter, 30 points in the fourth quarter. That might be the best second half of the season, the best fourth quarter of the season. Look at these bench points. 29 bench points tonight. And they withstood an absolute barrage by Jordan Canada, who had 26 points in the first.
The haters said the Fever were better without Caitlin Clark, called her ball dominant, said the team flowed better when she sat. But where are those voices now? Because on Friday night, that entire narrative crumbled. Clark didn't need to drop 30 to dominate. She took control of the game without forcing a thing, proving her impact goes far beyond the stat sheet.
An inconsistent ride for Indiana, and for Clark as well, who's had to fight through a lot of injuries. But I think the encouraging thing from Cece was the fight that she showed on the floor. Clearly, she's not quite at 100%, still working her way back, hasn't found her three ball yet, but what she did was attack. She used the physicality against the defenders by putting her head down and going to the basket. That opened things up for her playmaking, which of course is another genius aspect of her game. Once that started clicking,
Sophie Cunningham came off the bench with a purpose, dropping 16 points and grabbing 10 rebounds in a statement performance. But the real story was the spark she shared with Caitlin Clark. This wasn't Cunningham succeeding in spite of Clark, it was because of her. Their on-court chemistry was electric, fueling each possession and showing just how dangerous they can be as a duo.
Cunningham, folks, this might have been the best Sophie Cunningham game she's played so far for the Indiana Fever. When she hit those nail-in-the-coffin threes against the Minnesota Lynx, we were already up in that game. Yes, nail-in-the-coffin, awesome. But we were down in the third quarter. We were down 52-47 in the third quarter. And we came back and won. And that started with Sophie Cunningham hitting a big...
For weeks, the haters pushed the idea that the Fever were better without Caitlin Clark. ESPN's Carolyn Peck even went on national TV claiming Indiana was more dangerous when Clark didn't play. Can you believe that? They actually tried to convince us that the most impactful rookie in WNBA history, the one rewriting record books and breathing life into the league, was somehow a liability. But Friday night? That was cold, calculated revenge.
I say that they need Caitlin Clark. I mean, come on, guys. See, this is why you don't listen to ESPN. Idiots like Carolyn Peck said they are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. It's such the... She should be indicted and go to jail for that comment. That's one of the dumbest comments.
Caitlin Clark ended the night with 12 points and 9 assists, but the box score doesn't tell the whole story. Despite shooting just 5 of 17 and having an off night from 3, she commanded the game from start to finish. She was the floor general, dictating the tempo, creating openings, and making everyone around her better. And when the Fever trailed by 3 in the third quarter, it was Clark's poise and playmaking that turned a close game into a complete blowout.
So, the big way they were able to neutralize Caitlin Clark, and I think it was almost an issue with Stephanie White as much as anything, is they were manhandling her. They were manhandling Caitlin Clark early in that game. Like, they had two hands on her. They were fully getting into the we are grabbing her and we don't really care. Like, that was their goal. Their goal was they were out there to maul Caitlin Clark. They had they had absolutely no intention of doing anything other than...
If you're enjoying this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Now let's break down what made this game so special. It was Sophie Cunningham coming off the bench like a woman on fire, torching the Atlanta Dream with 4 threes on 5 attempts and dropping a season-high 16 points. But here's the thing, those buckets didn't just appear out of thin air. They were the result of the chaos Caitlin Clark creates. When defenders are scrambling to guard Clark 30 feet from the basket, fighting through screens, and bracing for her drives, it opens up the floor for players like Cunningham to shine.
Let's go right here. Sophie Cunningham. Let's check it out. And she's got the long three way down, boom. Way down, boom. So, real nice, all-around performance. Second half was great ball tonight. No doubt about it. But Stephanie White let the team cook in the...
What truly made this game stand out was the chemistry between Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Possession after possession, it was clear they were in sync. When Clark drove and kicked, Sophie was locked and loaded. When the dream collapsed on Clark, she found Sophie wide open. That's what happens when high basketball IQ meets teammates who understand how to complement each other. And the best part, Sophie knows exactly what's happening. As she put it, when she's with us, we play a different style. That's not criticism, it's basketball intelligence. It's understanding that Clark changes the game and knowing how to rise with her.
Hey, you know what? It's about dang time, let me tell you that. I have my... Shoot, it's been a second. I just think for the team, you know, we've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of movement. When C's playing, it's a whole different team. And when she's back, you know, we got to catch our rhythm. She's a heck of a player, but we got to find ways to get her involved but keep people hot. But, you know, for me, it finally felt good. It felt good. Like I said, my family's here. My sisters, my best friends. And so it just felt good to have my family here, so I thought I should do.
The third quarter was the turning point. With 3:38 left and the Fever trailing 63-60, they flipped a switch defensively, holding Atlanta without a field goal for the rest of the quarter. They closed with 4 straight points, then opened the fourth on an 11-2 run to take an 80-67 lead and never looked back. From that moment on, it was a double-digit game until the final buzzer. But this wasn't about one player catching fire, it was about Caitlin Clark's leadership elevating everyone around her. Kelsey Mitchell poured in 25 points, Aliyah Boston added 19 and dished out 8 assists. And suddenly the Fever looked like the team fans have been waiting for all season. They dropped 59 points in the second half, their highest total this year, and tied for the most in any half over the past 7 seasons. That's not luck. That's the impact of a star who changes the game, creates space just by being on the floor, and makes her team better even when her own shot isn't falling.
Be herself. We started playing an up-tempo type style that forced the Atlanta Dream to react to what we were doing. Instead of us trying to counterpunch, Atlanta Dream, they found themselves against the ropes. And there we were, Kelsey Mitchell in the third quarter, slugging away. Sophie Cunningham in the third quarter, slugging away. AB in the fourth quarter.
The third quarter was where everything changed. With 3:38 left and the Fever trailing 63-60, they clamped down defensively and didn't allow Atlanta another field goal for the rest of the quarter. They closed the third with 4 quick points, then opened the fourth with an explosive 11-2 run, building an 80-67 lead and never looking back. From that point on, it was all Indiana holding a double-digit advantage until the final buzzer. But this wasn't about one player carrying the load. This was Caitlin Clark's leadership in full effect, lifting the entire team. Kelsey Mitchell dropped 25, Aliyah Boston added 19 points and 8 assists, and suddenly the Fever looked like the squad fans believed they could be. They scored 59 second-half points, their highest total this season, and tied for the most in any half across the last 7 WNBA seasons. That's not a fluke. That's what happens when you have a star who elevates everyone, creates gravity with her presence, and makes the whole team better even when her own shot isn't falling.
This game, in the second half, we didn't take our foot off the gas. We put our foot on the throat of the Atlanta Dream. We didn't tell Caitlin Clark, whoa there, lassie. No, we said, Caitlin Clark, roam free. Fly like a butterfly. Flap your wings. Spread your wings. And watch the team.
For months, we've heard the same tired narrative that the Fever are better without Caitlin Clark. ESPN's Carolyn Peck even went as far as saying Indiana was more dangerous without her because she was too ball-dominant. And when the Fever picked up a couple of wins during her injury absence, that noise only got louder. But here's the truth. They went 2-3 without her, struggled to close games, and clearly lacked the playmaking and leadership she brings. They looked like a team missing their best player because they were. Friday night shut all the doubt down. Clark didn't need to score 30 or take over the game with shots. She proved her value in how she elevates everyone around her. Her impact goes beyond the numbers, and if the Fever want to reach their full potential, it's going to be with Caitlin Clark leading the way.
Player on the team. Now, they show that they're a quality basketball team without Caitlin Clark, but they're not a championship team without Caitlin Clark. They proved that, okay? So with that said, they need Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark sets her teammates for success, sets better plays, better passing. I guarantee you, Caitlin Clark played that game, they would have won. I mean, come on, the matchup would have been...
You know what's beautiful about a performance like this? The silence that follows. Where are the critics now? Where are the voices saying the Fever were better without their best player? Where are the analysts who claimed Caitlin Clark was holding the team back? Gone, because there's nothing left to say. When Sophie Cunningham knocks down 4 of 5 from deep, when Kelsey Mitchell drops 25, and when Aliyah Boston racks up 8 assists, it's clear none of that happens despite Clark. It happens because of her. Even on a night when her shot wasn't falling, Clark controlled every aspect of the game. She's not just a scorer, she's a floor general, a leader, and the kind of player who raises the level of everyone around her just by being on the floor.
Sophie Cunningham showed up. This was the kind of game that we've sort of been waiting on from Sophie. Her breakout Indiana Fever performance. The rebounds were huge. By the way, she had, I believe, 7 or 8 rebounds in the first half of this game. All right, before she started knocking down all